looks like I don't have no hair, but I just have it. So, I actually just want to chat with you a little bit and tell you what happened to me last week. And I want to use some of my Lethal Cosmetic shadows. I've just been in an indie brand kind of mood lately, so I've bought shadows from Lethal, from Shine by SD. Who else? Child, I don't even know. And I am ready to purchase some single shadows from Sydney Grace for their Christmas in July sale. And so I have this palette, and although these are single shadows, they did come in a bundle. So this is their After Dark bundle, and I just feel like there are colors in here that are really me, like the purples and the pinks and such. So I kind of want to play around with those, and I'm just going to go ahead and jump in. I'm going to start with some eyeshadow primer. So let me tell you what happened. I have been going into my office on like one day a week, right? So that's the day I get up early, I get dressed, I do my makeup, grab my lunch. Oh, I have to make lunch. And all that jazz. And then I go into the office. Now, I'm only seeing a couple of people in person because I think we're still in a pandemic. I don't know. You tell me, but I thought we was. So I have been seeing a couple of people who who will come in person. It's a few folks, and I also get a chance to see like my suite mates. So we have a suite of offices, and like we actually signed the lease right before everything shut down, what, like 2 years ago? So that was a super smart decision. I think I'll do one eye on camera, and then I'll do the other eye for like Instagram or something. So I've been going in, I'm like still kind of decorating my office. Like I have furniture and all of that good stuff, but just like the little knickknacks that therapists have. I've been trying to make sure I have all of those. It's been really fun to purchase things. I think I'm gonna go in with this purple, and I'm going to do a wing. So one of my friends, we used to work together at a different practice, and we both left that practice at the same time to go off and do our own thing. And she and I are always involved in shenanigans. Like, she's the person that takes all of my photos of my work outfits, and she's always catching me like doing something crazy. So there was the day, and you can see these photos on my Instagram. There was a day I was just like casually walking into my office, and my dress got hooked on the door handle. Child, I nearly took myself out. And then she also caught me like spilling water all over the place. Because we have this new like high tech, in my opinion, water fountain, and like I was having a hard time using it. Don't judge me. And then this past week, I was like trying to change this light bulb. I bought some brighter bulbs for my office because I don't like using the overhead like fluorescent light. So I wanted to, I've been playing around with like the warm lighting or like the bright white lighting and all that stuff. And so I decided I wanted to get some brighter bulbs. So, you know, I managed to change like 3 of the lamps, but the bigger lamp, I was having a hard time. And so I like, and I also had on long nails. It's so hard to explain because now as I think about it, it made no sense. But I sort of like went under the like the lamp cover, but I also went over it. So I'm like in my dress and my heels, like trying to twist this lamp. And I also have it like this because it's tall. So I'm, girl, and she walked by my office. She happened to have her phone and she caught a picture of it. And I was just like, listen, like these things are not even staged, y'all. This is just me on a regular day. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so before I even got to the office this day, I had an experience. And although I have been in this same building for 4 years, 5 years, 4 or 5 years, I've been in the same building because, even the old practice I was at was in the building. That's a whole other story. So even though I have been in that same building, I've commuted, you know, hundreds of times to this office, I still use my GPS because, as we have explored before, my sense of direction is non-existent. So, but I am, you know, like, aware enough to know if the directions are taking me like a different route. So on this day, the directions decided to take me a different route. But if you're in like the DMV area, you know that traffic like changes suddenly, right? And one little like napkin in the middle of the beltway can cause the traffic to shut down for like hours. So when it's like, you know, take this route to save 30 minutes, then I go ahead and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take that route. So I'm just bopping along. Now I'm on, you know, surface streets or whatever, and I'm just like chilling at the light. I'm the second car at the light, and all of a sudden I just hear this loud boom, and I'm like, what happened? So I look, and there's this little like red sedan like drifting towards me, and this white, no, was it white? Did he have a white truck? I know it was a white man. Anyway, so this little car is like drifting towards me and the car in front of me. And so the car in front of me starts backing up, and I'm like, hold on, sir. Let me push the horn. Like, don't make things worse. So the little car is drifting, and I see this like white van or truck kind of at the side, right? So I had only caught the end of it because I don't know what I was doing. I was probably like checking my lipstick or something. But we were stopped at the light, and so it seems like the little red sedan, so I'm stopped right here, okay? Yeah. And the red car was going like this, right? But the white van that was like stopped across, because we're like crossing, well, they didn't stop. They didn't stop. And so they run the light and bam, hit the little red sedan and just bashed the hell out of this little red sedan. I need to like keep actually doing my makeup. So, let me just grab a brush. I know some people don't like Chatty Get Ready With Me's, but I wanted to tell you all the story. So I'm going to go into this shade here. Okay, so I'm sitting here like, oh my God. Like, oh my God, what's going on? What's happening? What do we do? Right? I'm just like, you know, you would think a therapist would be like calm. No, I was not. And so the car is drifting, the little sedan, and I see that the person driving the truck, it's like one of those stereotypical, like those trucks or those vans that your family told you, like, don't go buy that white truck because somebody gonna snatch you. It was one of those. It was one of those. You know what I'm talking about. So I'm looking, and there's this lady just like super casually, like standing in the doorwell, and she's just like looking. I'm like, okay, that's one way to react to you like crashing into somebody. her reaction made me feel like, has this happened before? Because like you're having a very muted response. So anyway, the car stops, like drifting towards us. It is leaking oil or gas or something. I don't know. So I'm like, oh snap. Like, do we need to evacuate? What do we do? And I see this young male get out of the car. He's like hunched over. He got out of the passenger side. He's sort of like hunched over. So you can tell he's a little hurt, but he's like, okay. So he goes around to the other side, to the driver's side, and helps the driver out. And the driver is not looking good. Like, not fatal. This was not a fatal accident. Let me tell you that. Like, relieve some of your anxiety. So he, like, the passenger helps the driver to like the side of the road. And of course, because it's the DMV, people like are honking and stuff trying to go around. And it's like, dude, there was an accident right here. I don't know what to tell you. And of course, because of capitalism, I gotta go to work, right? I have to go to work. But I was like, okay, let me call the police. Yes, the police. And I've watched enough true crime to know that, like, I need to try to stay as calm as possible so that they can get all of the information. So I just do, first of all, I'm like, what's the number? Then I was like, oh wait, it's 911. So I call, right? And I could tell that the guy in front of me, who was a white man, maybe in a white car, I could tell that he was calling also. I wasn't sure if anybody else was calling. So I call. Y'all, this is where more of the shenanigans start. I'm gonna go back in with this purple. So I call 911, and I know that the guy in front of me is calling, but I'm like, I'm gonna call too, because, you know, I want to be nice and be a citizen and, like, you know, help folks out and such. So I'm gonna call. So I dial 911. To my surprise, I get an automated message. Why y'all didn't tell me that we were doing that? I had no idea. It was like, please do not hang up. Your call is very important to us. And I was like, hello? Like, is this 911? Like, so I'm just flabbergasted because I'm like, sir, this is an emergency, ma'am. Like, wait. So after a bit, somebody comes on and has a deep voice, and they're like, 911, what's your emergency? And I'm like, hello? Like, and I'm like, I just witnessed a car accident. And he's like, okay, where are you? And I'm like, I don't know. Let me see. Let me get out the car real quick and see. So I get out of my car and I'm like trying to find the street names. Y'all know I don't have no sense of direction. Shut up. I'm trying to find the street names, and I'm like, let me make up a name. Grant, okay? I'm like, well, I'm at Grant and something else, but it's like right by a Shell station, and the gas is like $4.89. So he's like, I think he tells me another street. He's like Washington, and I'm like, oh yeah, I think that's it. I think it's Grant and Washington. And so he's like, oh, you know, you're calling such and such county, but it actually looks like you're in this other county. So let me go ahead and transfer you. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, there was like an accident though. And he did say, you know, do you think that they need police and ambulance? And I was like, oh yeah, like somebody's definitely hurt, so we need both. So I get back in my car, and they transfer me to the next county. It was an automated system. Y'all, it was an automated system. So this one was, the message was a little different. It was again like, please don't hang up. But they added, please don't hang up and then call right back. to me, that felt so specific that that had to have been put in place as a result of something. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm on hold, just like, okay, like, like what's happening? So I'm gonna go into this shade here. So this time, somebody comes on and it's like, 911, what's the address of your emergency? And I'm like, I don't know, but the guy I just talked to, he said it was at like Grant and Washington. And I was like, there was a car accident. Like, I wasn't in the accident, I just saw the accident. So then she goes, what city are you in? I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what city I'm in. I was like, I was just following the GPS. And she's like, you don't know what city you're in? No, I don't know what city I'm in. I'm sorry. Like I told you, it's Grant and Washington, and is like a Shell gas station right there. $4.89 is the price of the gas, regular unleaded. So she's like, okay, are you in such and such county? And I'm like, yeah. And I was like, so I just saw this accident and 2 people look like they're hurt. And she's asking me like my name and all this stuff, and I'm giving her the information, and I kept saying like I wasn't the one in the accident. And then finally she's like, oh, you're not the one that's hurt? I'm like, no. And she was like, okay, well, we already have other calls coming in, and like was by. She was done with the call. And at this point, I don't even know where the passengers of the car that got smashed, I don't even know where they are. Like, it took up all my time and energy to figure out where I was and to give these people the information and to be on hold. Can you imagine being, like, put on hold like that? In like emergency situations, and I was relatively calm. I was, spelling out my name, the whole B as in boy. I was doing all of that. And later on, me and my friend were joking how I was like, I'm a doctor. Girl, you're a psychologist. You can't help these people right now. They need a med doctor. They need a medical doctor, okay? So I'm just like, okay, I don't know what to do. I don't see the people anymore. I wanted to give them my information because I'm ready to testify. I'm ready to testify that this car came out of nowhere, the little white van, and just hit this car and sent it flying. This truck or this van or whatever looks fine, and homegirl is sitting there looking like she don't know what's going on. And now you got these 2 little young men looking like they going to work because one had on like black slacks and a burgundy button up and a lanyard with his ID on it. Now you got them, ain't got no car no more, and like sitting on the side of the road hurt. That was gonna be my testimony. But at this point, I'm also like, shoot, I have clients, I have patients, like I gotta go to work because it's a capitalist society and I have bills to pay. Like, I can't wait. And so I'm trying to figure out, like, what do I do? And so I just start seeing people going around me in white man / white car dude just going around us and going about their business. And so I was like, well, I guess that's what we gonna do. So I went around and I continued on my way to work. That was it, y'all. Here's the thing, though. When did we start having 911 services or operators put us on hold? When did that start happening? Like, I don't blame the operators at all. I mean, I think they could have had a bit more, like, urgency. I understand they have to be calm and stuff, but I mean, am I the only one here taking this seriously? Oops. Like, there's been an act, like, they were for real just like, God, why are you calling me? And I can only laugh because it did look like the young folks were fine. Like, definitely they're going to be hurting the next day, but it did look like they're fine. I felt really bad because I really did want to give them my contact information because It was not their fault at all. At all. But I'm feeling a little concerned about the fact that if you call 911, you gonna be put on hold. I'm concerned about that. Have y'all experienced that? So I get to my office, right? Like, the next thing that surprised me is that nobody in DC has on a mask, a face mask. The only people who have one on is me and the car attendant lady. And of course, I had to park all the way behind God's back and walk like 3 miles uphill both ways because the garage right across the street from my office is full, like it always is. And the thing is, here's how DC parking goes. You have got to be able to like translate the Bhagavad Gita to be able to understand what is happening with these parking signs. They're so confusing. It'll be like, don't park here between 3 and 4 every day, but the second Saturday of the month. Then it'll be like, you can park here between 3 and 4 on the second Saturday of the month. Like, what, sir? What? I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't, help me, please. So there's that. That's like if you're trying to get street parking, which good luck. Then the other thing, okay, let's say you're gonna get a, you're just gonna park in the garage, which I've learned, like, let me just find a garage. This is a business expense. But the garage is like, we're full. Only like monthly people can park here. And I don't have a monthly pass anymore because I'm not going to the office every single day like I was before. Am I done with this eye? I think I'm done with this eye. What am I doing? Let's go back into... grab this brush and I kind of want to use this like peachy color here. So what was I saying? Okay, so like every time I go, I take my chances, right? I take my chances in terms of whether or not the garage is going to be open. And like the first few times I went, you know, the attendant thought I was cute. Either he don't think I'm cute no more, or the garage is for real full because I haven't been able to find a parking spot. So I go to the further garage and it's just me and the parking lady that have on masks. Ain't nobody else got on masks. So then I have to get out of my car. And I don't remember all garages being like this in the places that I've lived, but the DC garages, they go like so far underground. It's like they don't go up, they go down. So you're in like maybe like the 6th or 7th level of hell, and you have to walk all the way up these like steep mountains to get out the garage. Mind you, cars are coming and they whipping around and the spots are so small, girl, like sometimes you can't even get out the car, the spot's so small. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's hot and it's gross and everything like that. Ugh. So then, also, depending on what you're carrying, right? Like I'm carrying boobs and I'm carrying like 2 bags. I've learned my lesson and now I have on some like tennis shoes or some sneakers and I have my heels in my bag. But then I get up to the like top of the thing and I still gotta walk across the circle. Girl, it's too much. How did I do this every single day? It's too much. It's too much. What happened after that? I think that was it. So I finally get to my office and I'm telling my colleagues a story because you can't do that. Like when you're working from home, you have no one to be like, girl, let me tell you what just happened. You know, and even therapists need that, okay? So I'm telling them the story and just very like, I think what I've noticed, Caribbean people, we like to act stuff out and we're just like real energetic when telling a story. So obviously I'm entertaining the entire office, right? And they were like, this needs to be like an SNL skit. Because I was like, it feels like with the police, it feels like I was calling Sears. Like it feels like I was calling Sears customer service or JCPenney or Macy's, whatever. Like, because it just felt very we value your call. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know that that's how 911 worked. I've called 911 before, you know, and you take a chance as a person my shade. But I had no idea, y'all. I was so, like, that really threw me off. And I can imagine if it was if somebody was harming you and you have the nerve to call 911 and they're like, don't hang up, girl. We're gonna be with you in a second. Who do I need to speak with? Like, we're voting tomorrow. Okay, I don't know. Do we need a new governor, a new attorney general? Whoever is in charge of that, like, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and get it together with these services, because that makes no sense. Let me do this other eye. I'll be right back. Okay, y'all, let me wrap up with everything else that I put on. Move that out of the way. So I stuck with this palette. I did go in with this shade here in the inner corner. I also did a bit of a wing and I added some lashes. I believe these are just some Kiss lashes. These aren't my House of Lashes lashes. And then I went in with the Dose of Colors liquid lipstick in Bury Me Too. You've seen me wear this before. One of my favorite, like, punchy, purpley lip thingamajiggies. And then on top of that, I put on the Danessa Myricks Duet Balm in the shade Rosewater. And what else? And I topped a bit of that also on my cheeks. I'm hungry, so I think that's it. So yes, thank you for listening to my story. I'm sure there will be another story this week because, like, I think I was telling Z1 from Dion Loves Makeup that I don't know if it's me or if it's like the day that I go in, but it's always some shenanigans. So look out for that. Also, be sure to check out my Instagram because usually there's a picture or a reel or something just to give you a little something every day. Okay, girl. Make sure you're taking care of yourself and your loved ones. Drink your water, because I know a lot of us are living in these areas where it's super hot. Stay hydrated, okay? Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.